Local Matters. My name is Vicki Evans. Will Earth ever be a planet of peace? Well, the Culture of Peace Alliance will tell you yes, and they're going to show us how. So please welcome Sitbir Kaur Khalsa, and she is with the she's a coordinating council member with the Culture of Peace Alliance, and she's also managing director, City at Peace Tucson. And we welcome Del Jones, who again is a coordinating council member, and she also works with the Elder and Peace Circle. So thank you both for being here.
It's good to be here.
Satbir, describe to us and give us some background about COPA.
Culture of Peace Alliance came together. I'm not going to give you history. I'm more going to tell you the mission and that kind of. And I'm actually going to cheat, and I'm going to read it. Promoting peace, justice, and sustainability. Our vision is a nonviolent society of individuals, organizations, and institutions that have peace as their organizing principle. Our purpose is to connect people, peacemakers, and peacemaking organizations to create a sustainable and just peace now and for generations to come, because the future really matters. And our mission is to create peace-inspiring projects and events to model cooperative alliance building and to promote peace-based organizations and nonviolent strategies.
That's a lot of words. What does that Del, you've been, we welcome Del Jones back to Access, or to Local Matters. And Del, you've been working with trying to get ourselves and our neighbors to communicate and interact peacefully for a long time. So give us a little background about COPA and maybe what preceded it.
Well, basically, about 15 years ago, I pulled together for the Tucson community something called the Partnership Way Center. Not realizing that the partnership model for society is really a culture of peace. And so we worked at this for a long time, changing the dominator model to the partnership model. And about 5 years ago, it became very evident to me that what partnership is about is forming a culture of peace. And so we cuddled in with the Culture of Peace Alliance and became part of that. And I'm extremely happy the way that it's going, that we have found some other tools and skills to form a culture of peace. It is not easy.
All right, I have to ask you, Satbir, what do you think? Give me 5 basics that would help establish a culture of peace.
Individuals being willing to examine their own sense of peace within themselves, to learn to express that in their relationships, in their work, and just in their casual encounters on the street.
All right, very good. Del, what are some of the projects that, now that you're kind of together and formed and have a nucleus, what are some of the projects you'll be coming up with?
We have about 5 or 6 projects, some of them further along than others. The one that Satbir mentioned, she's the managing director of the, and we want to say more about it, is the City at Peace Tucson, do I have it right? Which is part of a national piece. 2 things that we've been working on a little longer than that and are just starting to roll and bloom are Elder Circles, which is a journey to conscious aging. Another one is Peace Circles, which are learning peace practices.
All right.
And we're excited about that. We also have I want to make sure I don't miss any, Community Conversations, which has been going on for a year.
Which is a project that I coordinate. And there's also the Season for Nonviolence.
That's right. And that one is is not new to the community. We've been doing it in Tucson for many years. It is new to become part of Culture of Peace Alliance, COPA. And the Season for Nonviolence is now not just 1 quarter of the year. There is a season for every quarter in which you work on a specific topic, the first one being nonviolence, and of course that's really what we're all about.
Relating to the Gandhi and King work that's been done here and in India.
And we're also very interested in the national scene. We're trying to get a Department of Peace. Nationally, we'd like to see states get into departments of peace, and some of them are closer than others, New Mexico and California. And we also want to have a city of peace here, and we've been talking to people about that. So, and that's different, city of peace. And the city at peace, we have to keep reminding ourselves.
That small word
makes
a different connotation.
Do you want us to talk more about the projects
Right.
now?
Well, before we do that, I want to make sure our viewers know that have a pencil and paper ready, or your computer. We've got some information for you here. The Peace Circles, and we're going to be hearing about them throughout this program, meet at Phronimos Greek
Phronimos.
Phronimos. Oh my
Cafe.
gosh! You can tell I'm
You're
not.
not Greek.
I'm
then.
not. No, I'm not. Phronimos Greek Cafe. That's at 3242 East Speedway, and it's the third Tuesday of each month, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., beginning in January 2008. And you will learn tools and skills for peacemaking. So once again, Peace Circles, and you can call and find out more information. 529-6010, that's 529-6010, and also check the website, and it's cultureofpeacealliance.org. That's cultureofpeacealliance.org. And I would like to know a little more about City at Peace and the difference, in your own words.
This is exciting.
Let's not hear about of and at.
Yeah, City at Peace is a youth project. It's for young people ages 13 to 19. They don't necessarily have to be in school, so they could be on the streets, and hopefully we'll be able to include some of those young people in the project too. What it does is it uses theatrical arts and to express the stories of their lives as they learn about the different things like power dynamics in our society, the different isms like racism, sexism, ageism, ableism, all those different kinds of isms. And as they learn about that, they learn to express the stories of their lives in a rehearsal setting, maybe using a song or a dance or a skit that they develop themselves. And in that process, they have both an opportunity to examine what's happening in their own lives, from drugs to violence to grades to bullying, whatever they want to explore, within the context of having learned some of the more informational content to broaden the picture for them, that this is not just happening to them, that there are some systemic realities about the isms and power.
Right.
And then they learn how to accumulate those scenes and put them together into a theatrical production that is actually premiered in a nice place like the Berger Center or Leo Rich Theater, someplace that's nice, not just on the street corner kind of, but really giving them a nice venue to premiere the event. And they do all the creation. They're guided by an artistic director, Robert Ancila, and they'll have a choreographer and a musical director.
That sounds really exciting.
And those
Isn't
are
that
all,
exciting?
they choose those, and this is, the other thing they get to do along with this is they develop a community service project. And so that's a really exciting component, because they're going to look at their own communities and decide for themselves what needs to be done and choose a service project, and then we have some resources that will help them with materials or implement those projects that they actually do for their own communities here in Tucson.
Right.
And I just like to add another piece there, that this is a national.
Yes, it is.
And we're going to be we're the Tucson part of a national effort
Of
working
cities
with.
at peace, I
Yeah.
suppose.
How many? Do you remember how many?
There are 5 cities in the U.S.
Yeah.
There are several sites in Israel, and there's
Yeah.
a site in South Africa. Now the site in South Africa was started by an alumni who graduated from the New York program, I believe. So I'm sorry, I can't name all the cities, but LA, Baton Rouge, Santa Barbara,
You're doing well.
Washington, and 2 in New York. I did it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that our leadership here has been to New York City for
Yeah,
training.
we did a training. Yeah.
Which I think, again, we're raising money for it, and it's a project that isn't quite off the ground yet, but it will be.
Right.
It's very exciting, and we have some really good local support. We have an unusual form of support that none of the other cities have developed, in that we have some faith community support. We have it not just from one faith community, but from multiple faith communities across the board. Catholic, Jewish, Episcopalian, Baptist, AME, African American Methodist Episcopal. It's very exciting.
Right, it is very exciting. And along those lines, then, so you're doing the City at Peace with youth, and then the circles, the peace circles and the elder circles.
I see where we're going here.
Give me a premise, right? Well, no,
the rest of them and the elder.
Maybe no. Or the peace. We'll stop at peace first.
We'll start with the peace circles.
Yes, I've got you've got some information here.
We do
about peace circles, and it's what's the physicality of a peace circle? Tell me about how
what does that
physically.
Mean? Oh,
well,
okay.
You know how physically it works.
I think the important thing about it is that it gives people a chance to come together in a dialogical setting, which is a circle. We're big on circles as a way to develop things. And for all the times that people have come to you, or you're talking about peace and everybody says, well, I believe in peace, but what can I do? I'm only one person. We believe that it takes every one person. And so we've chosen, and we really worked this out, Sapir was part of it, did several models, and we looked at all the skills that people could learn to become more peaceful, such as nonviolent communication. How do you live your life nonviolently? Very important. How do can I learn mediation? Of course you can. Meditation, can I learn that? Of course you can. And just several things. Forgiveness, big parts of living out peace. So what we do in the Peace Circle is we bring people together, we help them to look at one particular skill.
For example?
Nonviolent communication. We say, here are the websites, here are the 4 major things that you have to learn, here is some training that's available.
I love you've got a quote here on the brochure from Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh, I love that.
It says, it isn't enough to talk, she says, Eleanor Roosevelt, it isn't enough to talk about peace. One must believe in it, and it isn't enough to believe in it. One must work at it.
And one of the things that we really stress is that first you have to change your beliefs. And once that happens, then you can change your behaviors, because beliefs come first, and then you move into the action. And we really are trying to help people to take one step beyond where they are.
Right.
And in the peace circles, then we give, there'll be a little bit of take-home technique that they, it's not like, we're trying to transcend that idea that there's some people that in the know and some people that aren't in the know. We're trying to give them information that we have, so we all, that's why you talk about a circle, because you want people to feel a sense of egalitarianism.
Right.
And so they can then take the techniques that are shared, and they can share techniques that they know and begin to work them in their lives.
Right. What is the difference then, Del, between an elder circle and a peace circle?
I want to say one more thing about Peace Circle, if I might. And I'd like to, if it comes back to me again.
It will.
It will. And right now it isn't, so I'll say it. I wanted to say it doesn't start until January, and they can get more information from the website and the phone number that we've given. But another important thing is, because we're the Culture of Peace Alliance, COPA, we're working on peace circles. Part of the season for nonviolence, there will be an introduction to nonviolence, and then there will be a 2-day workshop. So we can say to people who've come in the peace circles when they want to learn more about it, oh, well, in Season for Nonviolence, another one of our programs, you could just step over here and be part of these other things. Right. So it's always about the connections, which is true of City at Peace Tucson, which is true of every one of the other.
And me and my elder circles here. But is an elder circle, what do you think makes the difference between an elder circle and just a regular peace circle?
Well, we always hope that elder circles are peace circles, but I think what we've been very careful to say is that you decide when you are ready to be an elder. For some people, they decide in their 50s. For some people, they decide in their 60s. And we have people that are still denying being an elder in their 70s. So what we are doing is saying this is a place, a safe space, the circle, where you harvest your life, where you do a life review, come to terms with your mortality.
And maybe that too.
Mortality. You do life repair, which is very important. A lot of people don't know how to do that. Mm-hmm. We help people to be proud of what they've done, embrace your legacy. And we help people to see that no matter where they are and who they're talking to, they're really being mentors. And elders in the Native American tradition are the mentors and are the respected people. And a lot of people who come to elder circles never had that experience.
Very true.
For instance, the community conversations, this past community conversation was called Generations, a multi-faith conversation across the generation gap. And so we had an elder and a younger person from different faiths. We had a Muslim representation and Christian representation, and they talked about each other and how they were inspired by each other.
Okay, and with the young people and old people, do you feel, or elders, excuse me?
Yes, we're saying elders.
Well, it's a great word.
Elderly, dirty word.
Right.
Elders.
Connotates, as you said, wisdom and
respect.
And respect. Is there a huge gulf between youth today? They are painted as being so narcissistic at this age, and just after the Game Boy and the hip hop culture. What is your take on that?
Well, that's true that people think that way. As a matter of fact, you have a lot of funding sources and ideologies that say if you don't get the kid when they're under 2, forget it. You've lost them. The City at Peace totally disagrees with that. They believe that every individual has the components to create a sense of leadership in themselves. Like unexpectedly in the City at Peace program so far, their grade point averages are going up half a grade. They have a higher than the national average of graduation from high school. They have a higher than the national average likelihood of going on to post-secondary education. And for me, more importantly, they have a sense of themselves in a meaningful future in a meaningful way. And that's so significant. That's so important. That's one of the things that's statistically said why teens are committing suicide. They have no sense of future and no sense of them place in a meaningful way in any future. And I think that it's totally an incorrect attitude that kids are just narcissistic. No, they care about the world and they want this world to be a better place. And they will participate in making it so.
All right.
Well, I'd like to add to that, because this whole thing about the suicide rate, and it is true mostly with youth, but guess where the second one is? Elders. And so our Green Valley Elder Circles received a grant for suicide prevention to do elder circles. So it shows again that a safe space to do whatever it is you need to do as you look at your life is something that is worth supporting.
Safe space. Safe spaces are important throughout your life, I think. And we are talking about the Culture of Peace Alliance. And if you would like to know more and check out the website and also participate in some peace circles and how they work, they will begin at Fronimo's. Thank you, Del. Fronimo's Greek Cafe, 3242 East Speedway. And they will begin in January of 2008. They will be, pardon me, the third Tuesday of each month. Once again, Peace Circles, the third Tuesday of each month, beginning in January 2008 at Fronimo's Greek Cafe, 3242 East Speedway, and time will be 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And here you can learn the tools and the skills. Please jot down this number. It's 529-6010. That's 529-6010. And the website, cultureofpeacealliance.org. Cultureofpeacealliance.org.
Well, I just want to say that that just is one of the projects that you mentioned. For instance, Elder Circles meets the second Friday of every month.
Community Conversations will start up again in January on the last Thursday of the month.
And that's going to be confusing to
It'd be
people,
very
so
confusing,
we, we just really would like them to.
I would like to give an email contact for the City at Peace project.
All right.
May I do that? Mm-hmm. It's gs@paxis, that's PAXIS.org, O-R-G.
Okay,
That's
that's City
easy.
at Peace, the youth program. What we haven't described or talked about in depth are the community conversation occurrences. And I'm not sure I understand exactly what you mean by a community conversation, and then how does, how do people get involved?
This is a collaboration project of the Tucson Multi-Faith Alliance and Culture of Peace Alliance. And I really like it. It's an exciting project. I'm the chair of the planning committee. And what we do is we bring together representatives of different faiths. The model is we have maybe 4 different faiths. So we'll try to have a Christian, a Jew, and a Muslim, and then another religion, like Baha'i or Wiccan or Sikh or some of the other more marginal, Zoroastrian we've had. And we present a theme to them, and they speak to the theme from their faith perspective. And then we open the floor to the participants to ask questions and have discussion. They're remarkably in-depth, really wonderfully in-depth, even when only a small number of people come. We also share a vegetarian meal before, so maybe that helps because we're kind of relaxed, having been well nourished. And we've had themes, like I said, generations, a multi-faith conversation across the generation gap. We had Treading with Grace, a multi-faith conversation about Mother Earth. We've had, a Native American, of course, representation was very important at that particular meeting. We have, so we have these really exciting themes. So January will be a theme around civil rights and Martin Luther King, the theology of Dr. King.
Right. So again, back to Season for Nonviolence and the connection there. And so people will be able to pick up on what's happening there and then hear it from the different faiths.
Right. Do you think that it really is individuals one-on-one achieving peace rather than perhaps governments achieving peace across the globe?
Well, since I'm not a government and I'm an individual, it's more effective for me to work as an individual. But I believe we have to. Governments aren't independent of individuals; they're made up of individuals. So I think it's both. It's not either or. It's
always
both.
The balancing, right? That to reach balance, isn't that a Native American principle?
What do you think,
to
Jill?
stay in balance?
Yeah, I just think we always have to remember that the individuals. It takes every individual to start making the change. However, we have to take it to our organizations, because if you're going to make a system change, you've got to get to the organization. And so don't just drop out and say, oh, I can't really do something. Look at what organizations you belong to and say, how can I bring peace into that organization? And I have found it quite amazing that different places that I never would have thought of it. Once I got talking about it in peace circles, I said, oh, well, I should be bringing that information into that organization because they're not really working on it. So each of us is at a different place, but if we take the next step, that's the important thing.
Right, right. And you might have mentioned it, Satbir, but with the City at Peace, the youth theater drama group, what are the ages again that children?
13 years to 19 years.
No,
Yes.
13 years to 19 years. So you've got a lot going on.
And I think it's really important to say that we are not connected with any particular religion.
Right.
And we are with any of these things, and we are also nonpartisan is the important word. We do not get into being against things. We really are looking at what ways we can promote the positive. And that's a whole different thing, because a lot of people who have lived through those years of the peace marches, as I did, only remember that we were against everything. And
I don't know. I was, you know, I remember, I wasn't a part of them, but I remember, and I thought they were for. I can remember in my memory it sticks, not that they were against, but that they were for something. And we are out of time. It's been a real eye-opener and always a pleasure. Del, thank you so much. Satbir, thank you.
You're welcome.
Culture of Peace Alliance. It's something we can all do every day. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Very nice.